Hey guys, it's been a long time coming, but we finally are bringing you our love story. I know we've been talking about it for like months now, because now that we have daily vlogs, I feel like a lot of people have no idea like how we met or anything about our love story. So I figured it'd be a good time now to do it. And hopefully our lighting doesn't go all the way down by the end of the video. So I'll try to hurry. I had just graduated high school, and that summer I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life and where I wanted to go. And I couldn't afford college, and I did have a passion for worship ministry, so I decided, why don't I just go to New Life School of Worship? It was like 30 minutes away from me. And so I was like, I could do that every day. And the tuition was pretty cheap and everything. David was going to school at Southeastern, right? Yeah. And he found out about School of Worship and decided to apply and also got accepted. So we met in September of 2008. 2008.
My story of meeting Shaylee begins in Orlando, Florida. I was at Southeastern University, like she said, and I was kind of praying about purpose and meaning, and you know, all those prayers when you're young. You pray about, you know, what am I going to do with my life? Where am I going to go? Who am I going to be with? What should I major in? All those questions, and it's pretty stressful. And I remember studying for my exams in the computer lab at the university. Somebody had left a link open in one of the libraries to the New Life School of Worship. And at the time, I had been leading worship for the middle school, high school, college, and main sanctuary at my church in Florida. So I figured I was pretty much doing everything you could do as far as ministry, at least worship ministry. But I felt like God was saying, this is something you could do. I looked where it was located, and it was in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I had never been there. I had traveled all over Europe, all over the world on missions, but I'd really never been outside of...
This guy's been all over the world.
I'd never really been outside of like Florida, you know, as a state. I told my family, and my family knew right from the moment I told them. It was the weirdest thing, because my family is what you would call realists, if you can relate out there. You tell them something and they go, give us evidence or proof, or how do you figure? You know, like, where'd you get that from, David? You know, they looked at me in the eyes and they both pretty much started crying and said, we feel like this is God too. We want to pay for you to go and be involved in this school. So I accepted my audition tape in, whatever you call it, and they accepted me.
We were in the same group, and so we kind of got to spend like a lot of time together and everything. And my first impression of David, I had just gotten out of a really bad breakup, and so I wasn't really looking for a relationship at all. It was like the last thing I was looking for. But my first impression of him was when I like walked in the doors. He was the very first person that I saw. It's kind of crazy. So I was like, I immediately, I don't know, I just remember like your smile. When I walked in the doors, I like saw your smile, and I was like, I want to be friends with this guy. I was like immediately attracted to you. But you already knew that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were in the same group. There was like, what, 12 of us? 11 or 12 of us. And you have like, they break you up into 3 groups. So you spend like so much time with your one group that you have. And we just happened to be in the same group. So we kind of saw each other a lot.
I just remember our first group meeting. I remember getting in a circle, and it was about 12 worship leaders just in this one circle. And our leader, Becca, was having us go around and just, I think it was just tell a real story that brought you here. And I remember telling the story about how my best friend Daniel got 2 speeding tickets on the way to Colorado, and I knew that that's where I was supposed to be. It just took a lot of hardship to get there. And I remember Shaylee when they went around the circle, and I'm trying not to say this like in any mean way or judgmental way, but it just felt like everybody was giving very superficial answers, you know, at least to me. And
or, you know, nobody really knew each other, so maybe it was just kind of like people were just afraid to talk.
Sure. And Shaylee gets up there and just starts opening up and sharing about her past relationships with friends, with her boyfriend. Pretty much opened her whole heart to that group that we had just met. And I just thought that was so cool. Like, when someone's real, when someone's just authentic from the get-go, you notice it. And that's the one thing I noticed about Shaylee. She's honest and she's open. After the group was over, I went up to Shaylee. She was wearing a cool outfit. You know, clothes, you notice that sort of thing. The girls that wear like the shiny boots or the ones that just wear the plain brown boots. Shaylee was definitely all shine, all shimmer. She likes to shine. And so she wore a lot of sparkly dresses and outfits. And I went up to her and I just said, those are cool shoes. And
they had music notes on them.
I don't know why, but I felt like in that moment, there are certain people in your life that when you meet them, there's a connection. There is a divine connection. And no matter what you believe in, you know that it's real. And Shaylee was like that. I met her and I felt like something inside was telling me to say, hey, we should be friends. So I did. In the most awkward way possible. I said,
it wasn't awkward.
I think we should be friends.
He's smooth. He's like naturally like, I think we should be friends, which I automatically took as like, he wants to marry me and have my babies. You know how women are. We always take it to the next level.
From that moment on, it's kind of a blur.
It was in December. It was the first day of December, and we both showed up to school, and it was a snow day. And we didn't get the memo.
Right around this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 years ago. Wow,
5 years ago. Cheapers.
But anyways, we both showed up to school on a snow day, and so we're sitting there like, well, what do we do? We're here at school, and it's closed, so you want to just hang out? We're like, yeah, sure. So I don't remember what we did. I think we went to like a Mexican restaurant or something. And we just talked, and like I think he came over and met my family the first day or the second day or something. So anyway, we made a pact that every day in December we would hang out. So we hung out every single day, and I showed him around Colorado, and we went to all my places, and I got to show him places that I like grew up at and went to when I was younger and stuff. And then he went home for Christmas break. So we didn't spend that time together because he was in Florida. So when he got back from Christmas break, that's when I knew I had to tell him that I liked him, because I was like, this guy is not going to make a move. And I kind of thought maybe he had a crush on me, but I wasn't sure because, I don't know, he was like, he would cuddle with me and we'd watch movies together, but like he still considered us to be friends. And I didn't want to be just friends. And so I was like, I have to tell him when he gets back to Florida. I have to tell him. It was like eating me up inside. So when he got back, it still took like another week, I think, to say something to you. I remember we were hanging out and I was like contemplating whether I should tell you or not. And you were like, are you okay? What's wrong? Something's wrong with you. I think I was like crying, or I think I was about to cry. So we went to the Mill, which is the college group at New Life, that night. I waited like the whole service. And then after service, I was like, can we go like sit on those couches over there and talk? And he's like, huh? Why? It was kind of like awkward, I guess. I was like, I just need to talk to you, please. So I think I made it like not even about me. I was like, you know, when somebody likes you and you just, you know, you want to tell them, but you don't know what to say. And then, do you remember that conversation?
Yeah.
But then I got to the part where I was like, yeah, well, I like you. And it was like silence for what felt like an hour. He replied with, I like you too, but I want to hook you up with my best friend Daniel. And I was like, I like crashed to the ground.
My best friend and Shaylee had been talking, and she was my best friend, and she was my best friend here, and he was my best friend in Florida, and I really wanted them to be together. And I guess it's a perfect example of when you help other people get what they want, you kind of get what you want. But the Lord knows what you want truly. And so, without being overly spiritual, I knew that Shaylee was the one because of our friendship. And if we weren't best friends, then there wouldn't have been a wedding. But I fell in love with the friendship. And for all you guys out there that are like contemplating making a move, or should I give her a promise ring, or should I give her an engagement ring, or should I just, you know, do something crazy like go to Vegas? I have no objections to any of those, and I don't think any of them are a bad idea. But I would say know in your heart that she's somebody you can put up with, but more so somebody that you enjoy spending time with. Even if your love language isn't quality time, it's got to be somebody that you enjoy being around. Because if you don't, you're going to drive each other nuts, and it's going to be based off of a lie. So I don't enjoy being around anybody more than I enjoy being around Shaylee. And every year I enjoy being around her more, which is awesome because if it wasn't the case, we're not getting any younger.
Yeah, so he told me that he liked me and that he wanted me to be with Daniel. And I'm thinking in my head, like, I don't want to be with Daniel. Like, I want to be with you, Well, I think we went like 2 days. Did the whole like flirting in class thing where you like look at each other from across the room and you're like, hey, what's up? And then I was like, I can't take this anymore. So we got back and had another conversation in my car. Actually, you brought it up, I'm pretty sure. You were like, so I really like you, like a lot. It's like not going away. And I was like, yeah, well, it's not going away for me either. And so he was like, well, I'm going to go talk to Daniel tonight and I'm going to ask him if it's okay if I date you, basically. Did you ever call him?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Yeah.
And
of course, what
like,
kind of a best friend is he?
I'm just curious because I never heard that part. So we started officially dating on that day. It was January 7th.
You know you're in love when you're falling fast. But
It was very fast.
falling in love is really easy, but staying in love, that's the hard part. So it's kind of like they say, like, just jump. Just jump if you're falling. Well, that's what it feels like. It feels like you're jumping. And that's definitely what it felt like at the beginning. It was all so quick, and thinking back, you just remember laughing a lot and having the best time of your life,
But just kind of as like a backstory, I guess. Before I met David, I had prayed to God and said, the next person that you bring to me to date, I want to make sure they're my husband. Because I'm not going to waste my time in relationships with people I think care about me and they don't. Or I'm not going to waste my time investing in something like that and being vulnerable with someone if it's just going to end badly. And that's where I was. I was like, I don't care. I was 18 years old. And I was like, already like, okay, I want to get married.
I was a fish.
I don't want to date. I
I
want
was
to
a
get married.
fish that was already caught. I was already out of water. There was nothing I could do to squirm out and back into the sea.
What the heck does that mean?
It meant God divinely took that
Okay.
net and he hooked me as soon as you
Gotcha.
prayed that prayer.
You had no choice. When I first started liking him, I was like, okay, well, I like him. I can't take these feelings away. It's been like a month of me liking him so far, which was like a big deal for me because I'm one of those people who likes like guys for like 2 weeks and then I'd be like, nah, I'm kind of over him. I started having major feelings for him. I was like, okay, well, God, is this my husband? Because if it's not, can you close the door? And he didn't. He didn't close it. I just kept having the same feelings, just more intense. And I was like, okay, pretty sure he's my husband. So once I realized that, I was like, well, why would we mess around and just take our sweet, irrelevant time? I guess it's kind of the way we viewed it. And I don't know, for you, like, did you know I was going to be your wife?
I don't think
It took a while, right, for you?
Yeah, it was not like
A while is in like 3 months.
It's not like a moment where I just went, she's going to be my wife. I think it was just like, I think as a guy, I went back to Florida for spring break, or I went back to Florida for
winter
break, and I just missed her, and then I tried to think about what it would be like living in Florida without her, and I couldn't imagine. I couldn't fathom it. I was like, there's no way I'm leaving this state without her. That's what you do as a guy. You just go, you know what? I gotta get her now, or somebody else will.
So we acted on that. He decided to take me to Florida for spring break. So he bought our plane tickets and went to Florida, and I got to meet his parents. His mom called me Shayla the first time she saw me. I still don't know how that happened. And I really felt like I connected with his parents, and I got to meet Daniel in person, which is cool. It was so much fun. We took Bethany too, my best friend Bethany, and so she went with us. It was a lot of fun. We had a really fun time, and that's when I was like, I could see myself living in Florida, I could see it. I still didn't really know that I was going to get married as soon as I did. My 19th birthday, which is April 12th, it was like blizzarding outside, but I remember we went to church, and then we got done, we went back to my house, and he gave me a mix CD. Well, he told me to not open it in front of everybody, so I went to my room, and it was a mix CD with all the songs that he burned thinking of me, which is like a huge deal when you're a music person. And it said on there, I can't wait to ask your hand in marriage or something like that, something along those lines. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I just kind of knew that it was coming. I didn't know exactly when it would be, but I knew it was coming. One time I took care of him when he was sick, And then from that day on, he started to act really weird around me. Like whenever his parents would call, he'd be like, I gotta go take this outside, see you later. And he would like disappear. And I'm like, what the heck is he saying to them?
Yeah, when a woman takes care of you when you're sick, that's a sign of wife material for a guy, at least for me. I mean, when you're really sick and she's the one that shows up at your doorstep when it's snowing and brings you soup, come on. Now nip that in the bud. That was one of those divine signs, like, she's the one.
So then you decided to get the ring. My ring is my mother-in-law's earring is a stone. So my mother-in-law gave David the diamond, and David got to pick out the band. So I don't know when you did all that, but he somehow did it. And we decided to go back to Florida in May for convention for the company that he works for, and that's when everything went down.
I said, will you be my wife? Some people say, will you marry me? Some people say, would you make me the happiest man in the world? I said, would you be my wife? Because we were already best friends. I wanted to spend the